let's give it a go with escaping the mount and see how we do with that.
Okay. All right. So this is a fun technique. I've tried to distill it down to. I'm going to stay seated here while I ramble for a moment. I tried to distill it down to the most necessary elements. An earlier iteration of my system, I worked through a whole bunch of the different Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu escapes. You had the bridge and roll, you had the knee to elbow, and it was all about being technical. And this escape is essentially the knee to elbow, but I've tried to create more of like a Kenpo scenario out of it, where it's like, you know, he's not just on top of you, but he's grabbing you or punching you. And so you've got your strike one, step two, strike three, and then you work your way to your knee to elbow. And the underlying theme, though, that I want you to notice on all of the ground defenses is it's really just two principles from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's shrimping, which is how you kind of scoochie your hips out from under the opponent. So you're going to shrimp, and you're going to do, you could call it an eagle talon, you could call it something else, but you know, the animal forms from Kung Fu, but you're basically just going to take your hand and try to just turn his face into hamburger meat. And so if you're getting out from underneath of him, scooching your butt out from underneath him at the same time, ripping his face off, you're pretty much escaping whatever he's got going. And you don't see a lot of this in the Ultimate Fighting Championships because you can't rip somebody's face off. They don't allow that. So you have to be, in those settings, you have to be a little bit more technical. And so somebody watching this video, they might say, well, why aren't you doing the arm bars, or why aren't you doing the fancier things? Because I'm thinking of a scenario where there are no rules. I'm thinking of a scenario where the guy outweighs me by a lot. And, you know, although the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu stuff does maximize your leverage, right? If you're a smaller person, there is a point at which the opponent is so big that it doesn't matter how much leverage you have for your body weight. It's just, you can't do much to the guy. But if you're elbowing him in the groin, if you're doing pressure points, like I talk about, gouging his face, or you can grab his flesh anywhere, grab his pectoral and just tear and rip, grab his latissimus muscle. And it's not that you're actually going to like rip it off, right? I'm not getting so hyperbolic here, but the idea is that it's a pressure point, and at the very least, you'll make him tickle, right? He'll go, what was that, right? And that's all you need to kind of wiggle out. And even the pressure points, just the flesh grabbing and the tickling and the gouging of the body is not allowed in the UFC either. So, you know, it's for somebody who's got that mindset, the MMA mindset. This might not even be on their radar, or they might write it off as not going to work. But it does work. When I was in college, I knew a guy who was like 200 pounds and just a natural, you know, beast of a person, and I had him put me in a rear naked choke on the ground, one of these deals, with his legs around me. And if I had to be technical, there'd be no escaping. But all I had to do was take my elbow and just with all my body weight drive it into his inner thigh, and, you know, near the groin, but not on the groin. And that was enough. He just let go and pushed me, like he didn't want anything more to do with it, because it's so uncomfortable, right? So that's the kind of escape we're looking for here. So let me find my, I need something to prop this, or well, I guess we'll just keep it. It's a little off kilter here, but whatever. So escaping the mount. Let's go sideways here. Now you can visualize that he's taken me down somehow. Maybe you started on your feet and you should have sprawled and done what is it, intercepting the ram, or maybe you sprawled and you should have done guillotine, or you sprawled and you were trying to go for a striking serpent's head. These are all techniques you're going to see later in the system. But these other techniques, they didn't work out. You weren't able to fend him off. He gets his arms around you and, oh no, you're falling down. Oh, and if you didn't necessarily get him in your guard, right? You don't have your legs around him, but he's got his legs over you, right? Which is extra bad news. So here you are on the ground, and you want to keep your feet up by your butt. Your hands are kind of like our standing on guard position. You want to have your hands up and ready to create a barrier here for punches. Your elbows, he's sitting on you like he's sitting on a horse. So his
Okay.
eyes here on either side, and you want to have your elbows, the points of your elbows, kind of inside here on his legs. Because what he wants to do now that he's got you here, if he's an MMA guy, he just wants to walk up on your chest and do a ground and pound. He wants to just punch your face into the cement. And so we want to prevent him from getting up high on our chest. We want to kind of keep him low. If I'm the good guy again, I want to keep him low by my belt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my elbows in by his thighs. And as he tries to walk up my chest, I'm just going to kind of walk with him. And he's never going to make progress because we're sort of walking together. And all the while I'm pushing my elbows into his thighs to keep him down by my belt. Now,
Okay.
so, but obviously that's not stopping him. That's just sort of keeping him in the position he's in. So while I'm doing this, I'm also going to drop a downward elbow to his groin, because his groin is right here on my abdomen, right? So I got elbows to the groin. I can even do an inverted vertical punch if he's just a little too out of range for the elbow, right? So I can elbow punch, keeping my face safe, keeping my elbows in by his thighs, walking with him. So, yeah. And so if I play the role of the bad guy now, if I'm on top here, I'm trying to work my way up. I'm trying to pin the good guy's arms. I'm trying to get an opening here for a punch to the face. But all the while, I'm getting hit in the groin here. This is not going to feel good. And so I'm going to not be as focused on punching as I am on not having my groin be hurt. Now, so if you're on the ground here with me, let's practice that part together here. So you're on your back, you're guarding your face. You're gonna kind of walk your shoulders, walk your hips across the room. You can think about, if you're leaning to the right, you can drop a left elbow and a left punch. If you're leaning to the left, you can drop a right elbow and a right punch. But that's your I forget who said it. Somebody famous says one's best defense is a good offense. And so that's what we're doing here, is we're being as offensive as we can. Yeah. Now, I wouldn't recommend a hammer fist to the groin.
Okay.
I think you're going to be better off doing, and it looks a little funky, but it's an inverted vertical punch. Yeah, in like that. And you're aiming with the two big knuckles to the groin. Yeah. The reason is I feel like the hammer fist, you might clobber him. Now, if his head is low, sure, go ahead and hammer fist him in the face. I guess I shouldn't say don't hammer fist, right? Hammer fists are a great weapon to use. You may end up hitting him more in the solar plexus. If his body is over you at all like this, I feel like your fist is going to have a lot in the way before the hammer fist would make its way to the groin. So if you want to go straight to the groin, invert it, and you can just slide it straight in there. But if his face is begging for a hammer fist, then go ahead and hammer fist his face. That's a good thing to do. So
I was gonna say, if he's right here, you could almost just bring the elbow up and back across too.
Yeah, and basically anything, just improvise. All the strikes that we use standing, whether it's a hammer fist, an elbow, normally we do vertical punches, but here we can invert it to try to get a better angle. All right, so we're doing the escape from mount. We're on our backs.
Right.
We are, the guy's on top of us here. We've got our elbows in by his thighs. We're walking with him as he's trying to walk up our chest. We're dropping elbows and inverted vertical punches to the groin. You can hammer fist, you can do whatever you need. Yep. Now, if he's really cocking back here, ready to drop a punch, despite all of your attacks to his groin, he's getting ready to fire a big old punch. the way we stop that is by bucking our hips. It's called either a bridge or a buck. You're going to lift your hips, you're going to thrust them fast. And what that does to the bad guy, the moment he's getting ready to punch you, you thrust your hips, it's like a bucking bronco. He's going to go, whoa, and put his hands on the ground. Now he's not he's punching you. He's worried about saving his own face. So let's visualize that on the bad guy here. We're walking with him. We've got our best defense, which is a good offense. We're dropping elbows and punches into the groin. He's getting a little too brazen here with his own attack, so we're going to buck our hips, and he's going to do basically a push-up position above our head. His hands are going to be up here on the ground. Now, this is our perfect opportunity for the knee to elbow. Let's take your left leg, put it out straight. You're going to take your left elbow and wedge it in by his knee. This is where we're going to start shrimping. If you'll notice, my butt is going to go towards the big garage door here. I'm starting to pull my butt out from underneath his hips as I take my elbow, create some space, and bring my knee up. So I've got this. If I was standing, you might call this a crane block in Kung Fu, right? We've got the knee to the elbow, but I'm not standing. I'm on my side. He's still on top of me, like he's riding a horse. But again, I'm sliding my hips out from underneath of him as I pull my knee to elbow. And notice that this leg here, my right leg, is not idle. This is what's allowing me to shrimp. I've got this foot on the floor. It's got some traction. That's what I'm pushing against to get my butt out as I pull my knee to the elbow. So the bad guy, he just did his, you just bucked, so he went, whoa. He's looking like this. If I do that more on an angle, you can see my butt is up in the air. I'm not heavy. Before, he was sitting heavy, making it really hard for us to do anything. But with that buck now, his hips are up in the air. So there's a lot of space here. A lot of space here. So now this is where you start doing your knee to elbow. Your hips come out this way. Your knee to elbow comes out this way. And you've effectively gotten out from underneath of him. For the most part, we have to switch and do the other side to get the other leg free. So we have to go left side, right side to get totally out from under him. But let's try that one more time. So we've got the left leg is out straight. We're going to shrimp our hips to the right as we knee to elbow here on the left. And then we're just going to reverse it. Straighten the right leg. Yep. Start shrimping to the left as you knee to elbow with the right. Now you're out. And ideally, you're going to put your legs around his body and cross your ankles. So now we say that he is in your guard. This is your guard position. You've got him wrapped up. And at this point, your right hand can be on the back of his neck. Left hand can be hugging his triceps, squeezing it, hugging it like a football. And you're hugging him to your chest. You want, I call this head control and arm control. So let's do that one more time. He's sitting on top of us from the very beginning here. Somehow he took us down. He's walking up our chest, so we're walking across the room here with him. All the while, we're dropping elbows and inverted punches here to the groin. Drop an elbow, drop a punch. That alone should be enough to end the fight. You land one of these, and he's going to be crying like a little girl, and the whole thing's over. Now, if for some reason he starts to pin your arms, maybe he pinned your arms to your chest, and now you don't have any attack, and he starts walking up. He looks like he's about to walk up high, or he looks like he's about to punch you. This is where you buck your hips, and that swings him off of you like a cowboy riding a bronco. And now he's in a push-up position. Now we're going to we have space. We've lightened him. So now we're going to straighten our left leg. We're going to do our knee to elbow escape. Left leg is straight. We're going to shrimp as we need to elbow. Shrimp as we need to elbow. And we have a minute ago.
Okay. So he's got me here. So it's elbow. Because this elbow, as you do it, the elbow is driving into his knee, correct?
For the knee to elbow part,
Yes.
It's kind of like you're scooping with an upward elbow. You're not driving it down. It's not like the downward strike we did to his groin. It's more of an upward elbow to kind of wedge and push and create some space.
Yeah, this is your lever as you do it to push on him, and you're using him as your fulcrum point.
That's right.
Okay, that's easy.
Now, I want you to watch my screen here for a moment, and I want you to see the degree to which I shrimp. So I'm going to spin around this way. So my left leg is going to go out straight. My left elbow is going in by his knee. I'm doing like an upward kind of lift here to create some space. See how much my butt has come out this way?
Right.
Right. It's not enough to just do this. You see how it turns sideways?
Right.
That doesn't really count. I have to take my butt and I have to transplant it. This is how I'm getting out from underneath.
Oh, sure.
And then this leg, once I get it free, I'm going to wrap it around his hip or even just his leg. So before it was inside, now I've wrapped it around the outside. And I'll do the other side. My butt was really got to come out here to get out. Now I can take this leg and wrap it around.
Okay, I understand. So as you get each leg free, wrap.
Yes. Otherwise, you might still be pinned in what's called a butterfly guard. It's not an ideal place to be. It's where your knees are out, but your feet are still kind of stuck in by his groin. And that looks like this, where he's sitting on top of your, he's sitting on top of my shins. My feet are kind of in between his thighs. He's got one leg over here and one leg over here. Maybe I go from the side view. So you can imagine like this is his chair, and he's sitting on top of me here. This is not ideal because my feet are still pinned. It's good that I'm getting distance, but I don't have any real leverage, right? Unless I'm like super strong and I can fling him that way. So I don't want him sitting on my shins. Before he was sitting on my belt. And so I get out, and this leg I have to get these toes out and around. So now he's in here. And then the other side's out and around. And now I can hug and control. So let's see all of that.
What's funny is as we do this, one of the things I'm noticing, especially with the butterfly guard you were just talking about, for me personally, it creates a bit of an imperative to get my feet out because of the knee replacements I have. I can't fold my leg all the way back because there's a physical stop because I no longer have the two cruciate ligaments. And so there's a built-in stop. I only get to 125 degrees. So this really creates an imperative that when I'm here and I make this first move, I've got to really push and get clear.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So from here, because you want to dig in with this elbow and push.
Yep.
Then I can wrap around. Huh? How did I do that wrong?
You did the opposite legs. Let's try it one more time. So stick the left leg out straight. There we go. You're going to shrimp your butt to the right.
Yeah, because it's dig in with this knee up, dig in with the right, correct?
No. You're going to dig in with the left.
Dig in with the left.
Shrimp your butt to the right. There we go. Now get that left leg out and get it up and out and around. Yep.
Yeah, because that's going to be the trick.
Yep.
So that's where, if I can get dig, because then I can get here, do it again.
Yeah.
And get up.
Yeah. Now, when I say
really,
you don't have to put it up on his body. You can just go around his leg and then put your left foot back on the ground. So let me do it for you like this.
Oh, sure.
So my left leg gets free. It goes around, but then right back on the ground. And that gives me the leverage I need to do the other side. Get this out, around, and down. Now, at this point, I can lock up around his body. So to convince yourself, you can see that the bad guy, his legs look like this. So your leg comes from inside, it goes around, and then it comes down right here.
Down onto his, right where the knee is and the calf.
Yeah, in between. Your foot is going to be flat on the ground. It's going to go around the outside of his thigh and on the inside of his calf here and set right there.
Okay.
And you'll do the same thing on the other side. And so if you were to do that leg wrap really tight, they call that a grapevine, where if this is the bad guy's leg, if I go around and around like this, you see what I've done here to the leg?
Mm-hmm.
They call that a grapevine, the way that my leg is wrapped around his. I don't want you to go that extreme. If this is his leg, I just want you to get your leg out around and then down. And now you got his leg kind of pinned there, and that's it. And then you do the other side, out and around, and pin the leg.
That's I got to really get that up, drop.
There it is. Get that left leg out and around and back down on the ground. Put it flat. That left foot. Yeah, there you go. That gives you the leverage now to do the other side. So pull your hips out towards the left. There it is. Get the right leg out. Perfect. Around and flat on the ground. So in the air, it kind of looks silly, but on the back, realize you're getting your legs around his legs and then putting your feet flat on the ground. Now, once you get there, then you can lock your ankles around his belt, and that gives you a little bit more control. But it's not until you have both of your feet free that it makes sense to get your legs up around his body.
So he's got me here. So I tuck my hands in.
That was a really good shrimp. Yep, keep going. Yeah, that's it. Wow, that looks really good.
It makes sense. It really makes a lot of sense. And I can pull that knee up and I can push just fine. I've got to just be sure to clear. I've got to get all that leg out. If I don't, I'm going to be stuck in the butterfly guard like you were talking about.
That's right. Let's now that gets us hit him and us in our guard, but we haven't finished yet, right? We still have a bad guy here in front of us. So let's finish the move.
Okay.
So yep.
You want me to start at the beginning?
No, you're good. Let's just have him here now in our guard. So the right hand has got head control. Left hand has got arm control. We're hugging his face to our chest, and we're squeezing his body with our thighs. Now what I want us to do is we're going to put our feet back on the ground. So you may decide that there was never a need to put him fully in your guard because we already had our feet on the ground. You could maybe just stay there. Yeah, but I wanted you to know that this is an option here to hold him with your feet. So, but now what we're going to do, we're going to shrimp one more time. We're going to take our hips to the right. At the same time, this right hand that's doing head control, we're gonna put a thumb in his eyeball. We're gonna grab his flesh by his ear and his face. We're gonna turn his face into hamburger meat as we shrink out towards the right. So you're turning his face into hamburger meat as you shrimp out. And you're going to just drive his face to the ground with that right hand. You're going to get up on your left knee.
Yep.
There you go. And now from you should be in the left kneeling position. Get your right foot flat on the ground. There you go. Now you can rise up into a right neutral bow.
There's the difficulty. Okay.
And then cover out.
Yeah, and I have to work on that still because I always kind of mess up a little bit. And I'm kind of in an awkward spot. There's something I'm going to have to work on. So, especially from the right side.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's just because of knee issues that I have, because that's what I don't normally kneel on the left. It's going to happen as time progresses, but it is something I have to work on.
Well, you're welcome to do this in the house on the carpet or the rug if that's gentler for you. So
no pain, no gain.
Yeah. Well, just do as much or as little as you feel comfortable doing here. I wanted to give you one more tip. So let's have him in our guard here one more time. So the right hand is turning his face into hamburger meat as we put our feet down and shrimp out towards our right. Yep, you're turning his face into hamburger meat. I want you to just take his head and put it all the way to the ground. That gives you an opportunity here. Do you see how my right foot is already flat? That's good.
Yes.
So that gives me the leverage now. I have a left elbow. I have a right foot. I can take this left knee and I can pull it out from underneath me and get it on the ground. Yep.
Basically use his head to push with. Yes.
So I want you to tailor that the way to get up. Make it work for you. I'm going to show here one more time, sort of in one motion here, how I do it. But everyone's got a different way of getting up. So I'm shrimping out as I turn him into hamburger meat. I find it's hard to kind of roll onto this knee. I've seen some people try to get up here like this, but that feels a little precarious to me. So instead what I do, as I'm pushing his head down, I can cross my legs and I can just pull this back like that. So that's my move right there.
Sure.
It's getting up. But if you want, you can, like what you were saying, you could like put a lot of weight on his head and maybe try to get up more into a double kneeling position. So just make it work for you. The goal is to get up on your feet.
Now, am I doing something wrong here? Because I feel like I've got my left arm trapped. Is that, I'm assuming because we got his head here, and I'm supposed to be grabbing onto his arm.
That's right. You're grabbing on his arm. You got his face. You did your shrimp. What I want you to do is do kind of a crunch and get up on your left elbow. You could do it. You can do a left hand, but try to get up onto that left elbow. Not the point of it, but like your forearm. Can you put your left foot? There you go.
Sure. Yeah.
And now, so just get up on that forearm, and now you've got all the leverage you need. You should be able to get up one way or another into a push-up position or a kneeling position or something. Exactly. There you go. Just whatever it takes to get up on those feet as fast as you can.
I don't do too badly otherwise. I just, as long as I didn't have to be on that point, I was fine and figuring that out.
You okay?
The knee reminds me that I'm only about 6 months out from surgery.
All right.
I'm okay. It's one of them deals. So from
Now,
here, yes, sir.
so realize that we're covering a lot of ground in this move. We've not only escaped his mount, but we are also finishing the fight from our guard. So
Right.
you could envision a scenario where he takes you down to the ground, but you have the wherewithal to immediately put him in your guard. You just negated half the technique. You jumped to the halfway point. Now all you do from your guard is shrimp out and turn his face into hamburger meat. So let's visualize that. Let's imagine that he just took us down. We've got him in our guard, and let's just get to the end, which is put your feet down, shrimp out, turn his face into hamburger meat. Yep, and then get up on your feet. Yeah. So
Because I probably from there drive one more punch just to make sure he's down.
exactly. Yep. You can kneel with a punch. You could just stomp like a front heel stomp to the ribs or the face. But so there's I tried to make it like a Kenpo move where you've got a beginning, a middle, and an end, but realize you can just take the middle or take the end.
Right. So from here, get out my feet. Got him here. Gouge.
That's it.
It's pretty rough looking, but I'll get there.
Now, let's go back to the original scenario where he's in the more dominant position. We are under his mount. And let's imagine a little bit different setup. He's still on top of us, but rather than him trying to do a ground and pound, so rather than him having his groin exposed and wanting to punch us, let's say that he is laying his chest on us, and with one arm he's got us in a headlock, like around our neck, and his other arm is maybe hugging. So he's doing more of a wrestling or a jiu-jitsu kind of situation where he wants to smother us like a python, right? He's trying to tie us up. So
right
here, our bucking isn't going to do much because he's
got my head here.
Yeah, he's hanging on already. And so he's not like a cowboy. We're not going to buck. And we don't have any elbows or punches to the groin anymore, do we? Because he's right on top of us. So this is another situation where we can just cut to the chase. His face is right next to ours. We're like cheek to cheek, right?
Yeah.
So just whatever side of your head that his face is on, that hand, you're just going to grab his face and turn it into hamburger meat. It's right. Yeah. So if he's on your left, use your left hand. If he's on your right, use your right hand. So
the outside.
Yeah. So
okay.
And start to shrimp out. So it's the same thing we did earlier, shrimp out and turn his face into hamburger meat. Now it's a little bit harder because he's still kind of on top of you, but if you take his face and smash it into the ground, now he's more beside you. Now continue to shrimp out, get out from underneath of him, and get up on your feet. So not graceful, not easy, but it works, right?
Right.
So there's another situation where we can cut to the chase if his face is already really close to ours. If he's standing up tall, we don't have that luxury of just shrimping out. We have to think about how we got to buck, get his weight off of us, and then start to shrimp and eventually work our way to head control. So
right.
I started with the hardest scenario, which is where he wants to do ground and pound, but realize that there are some easier scenarios we could also envision there. So let me know, what would you like to do next? Do you want to do everything on the opposite side? Do you want to?
It's funny because it really makes no difference. I mean, if he's on my left side, I could still do everything I wanted to. I mean, I could gouge him here, and I could put my hand on the other side of his head, shrimp out, and still go this way if I wanted to. It kind of depends on where I'm at.
That's right.
Unless
Yeah.
I'm missing something.
No, you're right. You could make the argument that, well, we'll just practice the one side, always send him one direction.
No.
But yeah, it is almost, it's such a symmetric sort of thing. But I think it's good to sort of practice shrimping out the other way, because there could be an obstacle, or maybe just the way he's falling, he wants to get off that way, and so then that's where you're going. So let's do the whole thing from the tippy top. Let's imagine he's on top of us here, and he wants to ground and pound. So we got our hands up, we're gonna walk with him across the room. We're gonna drop some elbows and punches, drop some elbows and punches. Yep. Now he's getting ready to pin our hands, or he's getting ready to punch us. So we're gonna buck our hips way up high in the air. Now let's start with our right leg. Right leg goes out first. We're gonna shrimp our hips to the left as we drive a right elbow and pull that knee up. There we go. Get that right leg all the way out and around and put it flat back on the ground on the inside of his calf. Now we'll do the other side. Get that left knee all the way up as we shrimp. Get that left leg around and on the ground.
Okay.
Now here is where we can cross our legs around his body, around his belt. Left hand is head control. Right hand is arm control. Right? Now from here, we can put our feet back on the ground. We can shrimp out towards our left as our left hand pushes towards the right with a hamburger meat, turning his face into hamburger meat. From here, you can start to get up on your knee, however it feels most comfortable, and then cover up.
So,
yeah,
that's got to take some work. I will get there, but that's just a knee issue, so no worries.
Let's not I don't want to overdo it. I don't want you being too tender afterwards. And also, if you practice this later on your own, I want you to go slowly. I want you to figure out, because I've got my own set of aches and pains too. And so when I do all of this, I like to go slowly and think, okay, from here, am I going to get a back spasm if I do this? Oh no, okay, that feels good.
Oh.
So let me just do this. Okay, there's no, because for me it's back issues. And then it's like, all right, how am I going to get up from here? Let me see if I can just get this knee up. So kind of work it slowly and see where the pain points are, or where you can avoid them, rather than just sort of like springing up and discovering afterwards that it hurts really bad. Yep. So now get up on that right forearm. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So
funny enough, I can bend and get to a semi-squatting position fairly readily. That doesn't bother me. Okay. It's just I can't squat fully, so I have to improvise a little.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
All right, let's do the cut to the chase version, where let's say that he takes you down, but you put him directly in your guard. So he's already in your guard.
Right.
So now what I want you to do, you got left hand on head control, right hand on arm control. You're going to put your feet down. You're going to shrimp to the left. Left hand is going to gouge towards the right. And think about getting up, or just skip that for now. We've done enough up and downs here, but the idea. Now let's visualize him. Let's visualize him on top of us in the mount, but he's not doing ground and pound. He's hugging he's coming in like a python. He's wrapping us up. He's got his head. Let's say that his head is by our left ear. So he's on top of us, but his head is by our left ear. It's his left arm going around our neck. Your left hand Your left hand is going to grab his face. Your right hand can assist if you want. You can get both hands. So reach over with the right.
Sure.
Left hand helps. You're just going to claw his face and pull it over towards your right as you shrimp out from underneath him. Again, work your way up onto your feet, or just pretend for the moment. Yeah. So
then it's
yeah. So it's not a very technically demanding move, but that's kind of how I like it. I realized that when I taught these ground defenses to my son, I outweigh him considerably, and so if I really start fighting back, and I know what he's going to do because I taught him everything he knows, so I can always win unless he fights dirty, right? If he starts pinching, if he starts driving an elbow, if he grabs my face and says, "Dad, I got you," right? Then it's not as it's much easier for him to escape than to do a very technical maneuver. So
if I see right, this seems like it's one where a lot of the pressure points, a lot of those tender areas are in some respects easier to attack from there, and they're the ones that are going to gain you some of the advantage in getting them off.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about eye gouges and other things, but that's kind of hard to land in a fight where people are swinging. But when you're tied up, it's just the obvious thing to just grab a face and rip. And so
sure.
And
almost anything there, if I grab his arm, grab behind the tricep there, any of that stuff, there's lots of different nerves there. Even if I reach down and hammer fist right on top of that quad as hard as I can, just hammer fist that, and then go about it. If I shock that quad, it's going to want to cease to work properly. So at least I have taken half of his support base out from underneath him.
Yeah, definitely. Pick them apart there with some good strikes and some good pressure points. So
okay.
Yeah. How are we doing on time? It's 5:30 where I'm at. Do you have a few more minutes?
Sure. If you need to, if you need to go, that's fine too.
Well, I'll have to go in a little bit, and I am getting low on battery power. But if you wanted to look at one more technique, happy to do that. We could do a sneak peek of purple belt, or we could pick something from orange or yellow that needs a review.
Actually, a lot of these are really finally starting to come together. And actually, funny enough, I start to remember the names better. So I feel pretty good about that. Let's pick up a purple belt one just for the sake of doing it.
Okay. Let me find my handy dandy list here. All right. So we've got the first one here is Twisted Twig. Let's just run through the list and see maybe there's something more exciting. Got some bear hugs, striking serpent's head, thrusting prongs, twirling wings, blocked wing, detour from doom.
And I remember from thrusting salute, or no. Yes, because you had said something about it was similar to Detour of Doom.
That's right.
I'm trying to remember from the video.
That's right. Yeah, they let's do Detour from Doom then. That's the other technique. If I had to collapse my system into two techniques only, I would only keep thrusting salute and Detour from Doom. So, and the reason is that when people think about self-defense, they think about somebody a lot of times striking them. Yes, defense is about grabs and hugs and holds and wrestling and all this stuff. But I think the thing that, at least for me, that worries me the most is, what if there's a dude like Mike Tyson and he's trying to just obliterate me with a punch? So here's our other solution to defenses against strikes. So Detour from Doom, we can start in a left neutral bow. I'm gonna face off to the side here. So this is now my 12 o'clock. We're in a left neutral bow, and I want us to move up the circle. So up the circle here, if I do that facing you, I'll make you my 12. Up the circle just means my rear foot, in this case, my right foot, I'm going to drag it towards 730. And now I'm in a left neutral towards 130. All I did was pivot on my left foot. That's it. It's like a compass, the compass that has a needle and a pencil, where the left foot is the needle, the right foot is the pencil, and we're just shifting up the circle a little bit. And there's no need to do a lot of pivot with the left foot. Just take your right foot and you're going to push off of that. Yep. Let me see that one more time.
Okay. So just from here, it's.
That's it. Yep. Now, that simple maneuver is very powerful. If the opponent is coming at me with anything, a jab, a punch, lead hand, rear hand, it could be a kick, it could be a jump spin flying back kick. It doesn't really matter. It's just like a matador fighting a bull. You're just out of the way. So that's the idea. Just you're taking your targets and you're removing them from his attack. And that what's great about that is you don't really have to worry about blocking, right? You don't have to do a fancy parry or a karate block. You just move your targets. Now, we are going to include a block just for safety precautions, but it's really that maneuver that saves the day. Now, I want us to do something a little different now. I want us to not just move up the circle, but I want us to move, instead of moving to a neutral bow, I want you to move your right foot behind your left so that you end up in a left cat stance. Yeah. So if I do this from a, that's it. If I do it from a side view, it's just going to come right behind my left foot like that.
Right. So if I'm in left neutral.
That's it. Yep. Now, the reason we're doing that is the moment my right foot touches down, my left foot is free to fire. So you have a weapon available to you the moment you get to that position. We don't want to, because there's a if I were to move and cement here in a neutral bow, well, now he's just going to renew his attack, and I've got to move again, and I'm always on the defensive, right? And if at some point he's going to catch up to me and beat me. So what I need to do is I need to move into a position where my kick is immediately available, so it just stops that cat and mouse game. Now, what I want us to do as we move into that cat stance, our on guard position is going to become a universal block. It's just, you're just going to close your hands and you're going to make this position here. I'm not touching my elbows, right? There's a little space there, but you can see it's kind of a matter of perspective. If I turn myself this way from the perspective of the camera, it almost looks like my arms are touching, but they're not.
Right.
There's a gap there. And so if there's anything coming into my quadrant 3 or anything coming into my quadrant 2, this is going to meet it. So let's do that one more time here. We're in our left neutral. We've got our on guard position. We're going to form our universal block as we settle into that cat stance. Yep. Now, if it's your right hand, try to have it kind of sweep out towards your right hip. You want to clear.
Okay, so I need to.
Yes, that looks a lot better. And now we're immediately going to fire a left front kick into the ground. Yep. Now, go ahead and relax for a moment. This should hopefully feel reminiscent of delayed sword. Delayed sword has a block and a kick. And that's all we're doing here. We're just making it a little bit fancier with an up the circle. And we're covering 2 quadrants here, quadrants 2 and 3, with our universal block. So let's do this one more time. We're on guard. We're moving up the circle. It doesn't matter what he was doing. We don't even know what it was until after he threw it. Who cares? He's getting a big old front kick. Now, if you can see his center line, kick the groin. If you can't see his center line, kick to the floating ribs or the kidney or something up here. It's a little bit higher. You could maybe kick the thigh or the knee, just anything that presents itself. And this is where I go back to that board breaking. You want to think of just shattering whatever's in front of you. You have a front kick, shatter a knee, shatter a pelvis, shatter a rib cage. It doesn't matter, right? Your kick is so devastating.
Right.
Just whatever's there, destroy it. So,
okay.
So here we are. We're in our left neutral bow. We're up the circle with our universal block and immediately firing that front kick. Now, as we plant down, the left hand is going to pin. So with marriage of gravity, you're going to pin, presumably it's his lead arm, whatever's in front of you here. You're going to create your opening. Your right hand is chambered high and tight by the pectoral. And you're going to go to a forward bow as you execute a vertical punch. Yeah. And I want your elbow to be out away from your body just a little bit as you execute that punch.
You're talking out here, correct?
Yeah. So the fist is not out. The fist is tight. But
right.
You mentioned Wing Chun earlier. They do vertical punches, but their elbow is in tight like this.
Right.
And it relies a lot on the anterior deltoid to deliver the power. By just lifting that elbow out while keeping the fist tight to your chest, and the fist is still going in straight, but the elbow is out. Suddenly now you've got your pectoral muscles involved. So it's like if I do push-ups like this, you can see I can crank them out, right? If I
right.
My hands are close, but I can do some push-ups. As soon as I turn my elbows in, like crazy in, this is a lot harder. I mean,
right.
And I'm very extremely bringing my elbows in. I lose so much power. So just put the elbows out, but keep the fists straight like this. Boom. That's your punch.
And I have to remember too, I think I'm losing my perspective and it's my own fault. If my attacker's this way, I have to come here and kick here. And that's just my own fault. I discovered that I was kicking that way. It's like, no, my attacker's here. If I'm in a left neutral, he's coming at me this way, not this way.
Oh, well, so actually,
and that was my fault.
Well, what I want to say is that it might not be such a wrong idea to kick and punch towards your 130. And the reason is, think back to the Matador example. The bull doesn't just pause. The bull is coming through. And so as you move up the circle, he's punching where you were. And he has taken up space where you were. And so now your attack is going to be on the diagonals. You're kicking towards 130.
Oh, I understand you.
You're punching towards 130. Yes. Now that vertical punch, I want you to think about if you can see his center line, it was a kick to the groin, and the vertical punch can be to the solar plexus or the ribs. I want you to strike the body with a punch. If you decide to strike his face instead, I highly recommend turning it into a heel palm strike. Right. Just because bare knuckles on cheekbones, bare knuckles on foreheads and noses, you're gonna just really hurt your hand. And I'm just saying that, I know that I would hurt my hand, right? So if it's a body shot to the ribs or to the solar plexus, I think knuckles are great because they're pokey. They can get through a couple layers of clothing and really just give them a wallop. But as soon as we're talking about the face, you can do the same pin. The same elbow comes up. But if you want to hit the face, I would go heel palm strike. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do it one more time from the tippy top, and we'll do a punch to the body. So we're in our left neutral. Okay. We're moving up the circle into our cat stance. We've got an immediate kick to the groin. We're going to pin whatever arm is closest to us. We're going to create our opening and punch to his body. Yes. Now, this right hand that just did the punch, we're gonna hook by our left shoulder and scoop around his neck like this as we move up the circle for a big hammer flip. I like to think of Thor's hammer or the Incredible Hulk coming down with a big left smash to the back of his neck. That's it right there. So let's do that all from the beginning. We're in our Smiths. We're getting out of the way. We've got our universal block, but it's really the front kick that's saving the day here. Boom. Pin as you plant. Yep, driving a punch. Hooking behind his neck as you smash. Yep.
Now, when you say hook from here, you're hooking behind his neck this way, correct? You're snaking up behind his neck. Is that what you're?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
I like to think of it, if I'm going to channel a kung fu creature, I like to think of a mantis. The mantis has hands like this, and so my arm stays close, and it's this kind of bend in my wrist that gets his neck. So it's not like a big reach this way, a long arm, but it's very much a small little hook here. And you see how bent my elbow is to my body? Yeah. Because realize you punched him in the solar plexus. His face is right up on your face. He's like got his forehead almost on your chest. So you're gonna have to well, I said snake, but it's really more mantis. You're gonna have to mantis that up on his neck, pull him over, and hammer fist. Yep. And you have borrowed reach because you hit him. You're really just getting out of the way. So I wouldn't think about getting a strong hold and then moving. I would just say, get your body out of the way, let him fall like a tree, and you're just kind of guiding that fall and making sure your hammer fist hits.
That's what I was wondering, because I was like, well, I can see potentially missing the neck, but I don't think it matters if I get up onto a shoulder, anything to direct him like you were talking about, direct him down, then drop that hammer fist on him.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, my battery is very low here, so let's just say one last thing in closing. I want you to do your single cover out and then Ronaldo back in for a back kick. So after your hammer fist,
right,
you did the pull and the hammer. The left foot does a single cover out. There it is. Well, now that was a double cover.
Yeah, I just realized that. Oh, because I was okay. Yep. So, and then
and then it's a rear crossover with the left back kick.
Right.
So that's it.
Okay.
All right. I had fun. See you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.